The most memorable thing I've done in my years at ASHAR is to interview my great-grandfather as part of the Names Not Numbers program. This was my great-grandfather's first interview about the Holocaust, where he was sent to Auschwitz and came to America an orphan, his parents and siblings dead. He didn't give up hope though, he made a family. And now at the ripe age of 98 years old, has a family full of grandchildren and great-grandchildren to call his own. Thank you, ASHAR, and the Names Not Numbers program for giving me the opportunity to interview my great-grandfather. Most importantly, thank you, Zadie. And as the years go on, and fewer Holocaust survivors remain, the moments I had sitting in his house with a mic, asking him every question I could think of, will never be taken for granted and never forgotten.
The interviewing and filming for the Names Not Numbers this year is both an inspiring and educational experience. First, we were shown how to work the cameras and how to make sure they were focused on the person in the shot. Then we were each given a role to take on during the interview, like the person who wore headphones to make sure the microphone was picking up sound correctly, and someone who took timestamp notes for us to use later in editing. And of course, there was the interviewer. We were educated on what to do if the interviewee started getting emotional, which thank God he didn't. Overall, it was a very educational experience, and I think it will definitely come to use later in life.
As part of the Names Not Numbers program, I learned how to create my own documentary. I learned how to use professional cameras and equipment. I then learned how to research to prepare for an interview, and I also learned how to speak to an older person who went through the Holocaust. I then learned how to edit the raw footage. Not only did I learn a lot about the Holocaust, but I also learned a lot of other important communication skills.
After the Names Not Numbers premiere event, in which the community came to ASHAR to watch the documentary, we went to Assisted Living Center and gave the presentations about the project. We talked to the residents about the entire Names Not Numbers process. We also saw one of the survivors whom we had interviewed. We discussed our Holocaust research, and the residents were very proud of all the hard work we've done to keep the Holocaust from being forgotten.
Names Not Numbers was an amazing experience for me. Many of my great-grandparents survived the Holocaust, but I never got to talk to any of them. So I was very excited to finally interview someone who survived the Holocaust. I think everyone should know about the atrocities that happened to the Jews in the Holocaust so that history doesn't repeat itself again. Sadly, there are still many Holocaust deniers out there who believe the Holocaust never happened. But I think that if a Holocaust denier would interview someone who survived the Holocaust, they would change their mind.
Hey everyone. As I was trying to figure out what to talk about for the graduation video, I thought about the hockey team and the lesson I learned from it. Let's be honest, we weren't great. I was the tallest one on the team and the only one over 5 feet tall, and I'm really short for my class. But at least we can be an inspiration for other teams. Somewhere out there, I guarantee it, a coach is trying to hype up his team and he's going, at least we'll never be as bad as them. And it's true, but we were always there. Whether it was to almost block a shot or almost score a goal, we were there. So as we graduate, let's take this one lesson with us. If we can survive being this bad at hockey, you can survive anything.
I believe that every person has some tie to their school, whether it be their friends, the teachers, or a special class. Everyone has a reason that they love school. For me, it was the basketball team. I felt that it resonated with me because when I was with the team, it felt like family. It made switching schools that much easier for me. It helped me make new friends and really get used to ASHAR. My time in ASHAR was short, but it had an impact on my life that I'll forever remember.
Being a part of the ASHAR Sharks is really unreal, to say the least. Having Coach Koenig and Coach James practicing with every day with the whole team, getting better, it's really unreal. The most memorable moment was the RPRY game, hitting 7 threes, having the famous kiss by Coach Koenig by the timeout. We go up 20 points. We're missing a few players. And Coach Koenig getting hype. Coach James bringing the energy. It was just an unreal moment. Then I'll plan on continue playing basketball into high school.
In my 10 years of attending ASHAR, one of the most enjoyable experiences was being a part of the basketball team for 3 straight years. Just being on the team itself was an experience. From post-game meals to practice, everything that the team provided was just an unmatched experience and had to be put at the top of the list. We went from being one of the worst teams in 6th grade to one of the best teams in 8th grade and making the second round of playoffs without having to play the first round. These experiences were very special to me, and I hope to have the same thing in high school.
I have many memories of my ASHAR hockey career. I initially wasn't allowed in the team since I was a 6th grader and the team was only for 7th and 8th graders. But after my gym teacher saw me in gym, she let me join the team. The team was sort of confused when I first went to the practice. We were spread around teams that I was joining, but no one actually expected me to. We were a bad team. We went 0-8, which is no wins. But it wasn't a complete failure. I scored 2 goals in my last 2 games. The season after that I improved, and the season after that one, I became the captain, which was this year. I was the best player on the team, and I led my team to the playoffs after losing in the first round to MDS in a hard-fought game. That's how I became the shortest captain in ASHAR history.
One of the greatest memories I will have of ASHAR once I graduate will be my time on the Torable team. I've always wanted to be on a team, but I knew I wouldn't make the basketball team, and I don't enjoy hockey, so Torable was the final option. After I joined, I was assigned a section of Chumash to memorize, and after about a month of hard work, the time finally came. I was going to play my first game. The team did great, and we won 4 of 4 games, but I still had one thing on my ASHAR bucket list, an away game. After about another month of hard work, we got on the bus and went to MDS. Sadly, we lost one of our games that day, and I threw up after eating too much pizza. I learned 2 things that day. 1, you don't always win, and 2, don't eat too much pizza.
I have many good memories at ASHAR, but I especially enjoyed the trips. In 5th grade, Rabbi Hoffman took us to American Dream Mall. We went to the amusement park in the mall. Our 6th grade trip to Top Golf with Rabbi Benchheim was a lot of fun. I'm very good at golf, so I won most games. Our 7th grade trip to Philadelphia was a lot of fun. I even enjoyed the bus ride there. Overall, school was great, and trips made it even better.
Many schools do fun trips, but one of the things that make ASHAR stand out is the Philadelphia trip because of the balance of fun and learning. At the U.S. Mint, we learned how coins are made. We also went to the Liberty Bell and the Franklin Institute. This trip was so much fun, and it was an unforgettable experience.
One of my favorite memories of ASHAR was the Top Golf trip. The first Top Golf trip was when we were in the 6th grade, and the second Top Golf trip was when we were in the 7th grade. The first part of the trip was going to clean up a cemetery, picking up sticks and rocks and leaves. When we got on the bus, it was really fun because I had tons of snacks like chips and chocolate. After that, we got to the Top Golf place, and it was boiling hot, and I had to wear my coat around my waist because I had a hole in my pants. After that, the loser of every round had to drink ketchup and mustard, and I was pretty bad at Top Golf, so I had to drink a lot of ketchup and mustard. One of my favorite parts was they gave unlimited drinks, so that was really cool. Both of those reasons are why the Top Golf trip was my favorite trip in ASHAR.
I remember my 7th grade trip to Philadelphia. We woke up early around 7 in the morning and came to school and davened. After that, we went on the bus to Philadelphia. It was a long trip. Once we got there, we went to the U.S. Mint and saw how coins were made. And then we went to the Liberty Bell, and after that took a self-guided tour of downtown historic Philadelphia. It was a really fun trip and fun and nice to be able to hang out with my friends out of school.
Last year in 7th grade, my class and I went to Philadelphia, a trip that I'll never forget. I woke up super early and made my way to school. We got on a bus and made our way to Philadelphia. After the long 2-hour trip, we made it. Our first destination was the Liberty Bell, along with many more destinations. We ended our trip at a pizza store, which I really enjoyed. The Philadelphia trip was a very exciting and fun educational experience for me.
I remember our trip to the Regeneron DNA Learning Center in 7th grade. We used protection glasses to prevent anything bad from getting into our eyes. We used laboratory equipment to transfer genes with glowing cells in them to bacteria without. We applied what we learned in biology class to do this project, and I will always remember this.
My favorite part of the 7th grade trip to Philadelphia was when we went to the Franklin Institute. I remember the science demonstration with chemical explosions. There was a giant pendulum and a massive stairwell that swung around and show the rotation of the Earth. There was a sports room where we could test out different sports, and a space room with exhibits about the solar system and space travel. We also saw a half-hour planetarium show. This is a trip I will never forget.
In my many years of being in ASHAR, I've experienced many fun trips. I built a lot of friendships and made many good memories. One trip that stood out to me was the American Dream Mall trip. In American Dream, we went on many fun amusement rides in the Nickelodeon park. We also went to the Oreo Cafe, in which we all got Oreo milkshakes. In the Oreo Cafe, they sold many things including Oreos, socks, and rainbow mugs. This trip was an amazing experience that I'll never forget.
One of the highlights of my years at ASHAR was when the whole school went outside to observe a solar eclipse. It happened during school hours, and we each received a pair of special eclipse glasses to protect our eyes. We went into the backyard and observed the sun being eaten up by the moon. It turned dark outside for a few minutes before it returned to normal. It was an experience I will never forget.
Have you ever experienced a moment where you felt on the top of the world? For me, that moment was back in 4th grade where we played football. My team won 8-0, and I scored 7 of the 8 points that we got. In the end, I was named MVP, and my team let me know by chanting it over and over again.
We started the school year with an interesting visit from the shofar factory. We learned how to make our own shofar, and we each made our very own kosher shofar. I remember receiving a raw ram's horn, and we had to saw off each side of it. Then, we drilled a hole through the middle. Once the shofar was finished, we practiced blowing the kiyos. Each 8th grade boy went home for Rosh Hashanah with his very own kosher shofar, and I still have mine.
On Yom HaShoah, a handful of people were selected to present their Holocaust projects to the whole middle school. I was one of those people. I was a little nervous because things didn't go so smoothly with the few people who went before me. I was especially scared that I was going to laugh inadvertently because that's what I do sometimes when I get pressured. However, I locked in like I never did before and threw away the key. It was like there was nothing in the world besides for me and the Chromebook. I got many compliments after I finished.
Working on the 8th grade yearbook this year taught me a lot about being responsible for a large publication. As well as teaching me a lot of responsibility, it was enjoyable. I worked with the group to develop a theme, write a bio about each student, and create a humor section. This was difficult because I didn't know what everybody would want to be written about them. That is why it was important to work as a team. It was also very enjoyable because I got to learn a lot more about everybody in the class and connect more with them. Although we had a main team to work on the yearbook, the rest of the class was involved as well by voting and helping design the yearbook cover. In the end, we ended up creating a yearbook that hopefully everybody will enjoy and look back on throughout their life.